Today we are going to try out app mode in browsers. What is this app mode? Your browser allows you to open a website as an app. That is, in a window without tabs, without the address bar, without all those toolbars and bookmarks and stuff, all the extra things that clutter up your experience, all of that is gone. You can open only one website, and that is all. Why would you want to do it? Well, app mode is useful if you want a distraction free experience. If you only want to fire up that one website and want to spend some time there, you also recover some screen space. All of that clutter is gone. Also, many sites could be opened as apps, right? Like, say, Facebook or the web version of WhatsApp, or even any other thing that you want to open in a distraction free environment. App mode is supported in most browsers that I know. I'm going to use Microsoft Edge for this example, which I regularly use. It's also supported in Chrome, Firefox, Brave, Vivaldi, Opera, and other browsers, right? So these are the most commonly used browsers, and you will find app mode there. That is, most of the steps I'm going to do here are going to be there in other browsers in some form or the other. If it's a Chromium based browser, so Chromium is the browsing engine that drives most major browsers like Edge, Chrome, uh, Brave, Vivaldi, Opera. All of these are driven by the Chromium engine. If it's a Chromium based browser, then the steps are going to be very similar. Firefox is based on a different engine called Gecko, or more recently it was named Quantum. In that, the steps could be a little different, but it supports app mode. Okay, so that's what matters. So let's get right into it. Um, so this is I'm in Microsoft Edge right now. So let's go to any website, right? Just let's type app mode. Okay, I could go to say this link. I'm just randomly clicking stuff. Um, Demonstrating how it works is my concern. Um, so to access app mode, you need to go to the settings menu in your browser, and there is an option called apps, right? Here you will find an option called install this site as an app. Now, how you exactly install this site as an app will vary from browser to browser. But the steps will be very similar. You have to go to your settings menu and you will find something that allows you to install the site as an app. So I click this. It asks me to give a name to this. I could give any name here, but I'll leave the default name of the website. You can also edit the icon that shows up for the app, but we don't really need to edit that, right? So we'll press install. And this app has now opened, and you get some options that Edge asks you by default if you want to consider them. So what are these options? The first one is pin to taskbar. So if I click this, this app will show up on my taskbar right here, and pin to start. So if I pin it to start, then it will show up in my start menu. Then I could also create a desktop shortcut, and I could also start the app when I log into my device. That is when my machine starts up, right? So I'll remove this. I don't want this. I could pin it to start. That's quite handy, and I say allow. Now see, this has opened in app mode. See, all the extra things are gone. There's a refresh button, and that's all. Um, there's no address bar. There's the settings menu, a very minimal settings menu, where you see what are the permissions of the app, and we don't usually need to be bothered about all of this, so let's forget this. What else is there? So all your extensions are actually available in the app. So these are the extensions that I use. They are available in the app if you want to use them, but they don't show up on this bar. Okay, so It's quite a minimal experience actually. Also, you get a few options like you can change the zoom, which you can also do with control plus or control minus. So you don't really need to go here. You could open this again in Microsoft Edge if you want to open it in the browser window. That is a full-fledged browser window, and some other handy options. And you get the default right-click menu as well. So uh, most functionality is there, and the website would function just fine. Okay. And let's see how to open this from other places. Like we installed it as an app, right? So it has to have some benefits. Like if you are to go to a website, you usually type the address of the website, or you put a bookmark and then click it and then go to the website, or something like that. But the advantage of installing a website as an app is that you can um, click um, just just an icon and the website will open. So I go to my start window and see this has appeared, mode. This is our app, right? And see, this is just like a normal application in Windows. This is called a web app. So if I right click it, you could run it as an administrator. Um, you could pin it to the taskbar. You could go to the app settings, and you can even uninstall it. I mean, we installed the app from Edge. Now we could uninstall the app from Windows, right? So just like a normal app. So if I click this, see this window opens again. And this is how the app works, right? Now, if I say I want to access various settings related to apps, so let's close this and go to apps, manage apps. So this will show all of the apps that are installed. So I have a Jupyter Lab app installed and this new app that I just installed called Mode. If you right click on these, you get some options, right? So start app when you sign in, that is when you start your machine, this app will start up automatically. You can also configure site permissions that we already saw, and you could create a desktop shortcut. Now this will come handy in a moment, and you could also remove this. So if you remove this, this web app will disappear, it will go away, right? um, or you could also remove it by clicking this cross button. So pretty simple. But that completes the part where uh, I show you the app mode. It is pretty simple actually. Now we could do some more stuff. Like say, what if we want to um, use this app from the command line? There could be many situations where I'd like to do that. For instance, I have Jupyter Lab installed, right, as a web app. Now, if I click this, Jupyter Lab opens this app. Now, Jupyter Lab, which essentially hosts a Jupyter notebook, is something that depends on its own server. So I have to run a Jupyter server first from the command line, and then Jupyter Lab starts. But I haven't run the server yet, so Edge cannot reach that page. So what do I do, right? I'd have to first start the server from the command line, then come here and then click on Jupyter Lab, or I could also go to my start menu and click on Jupyter Lab here. So this is the web app. Um, I could also do the entire thing from the command line. So I could start the server from the command line and also um, start the app from the command line. But for that, we have to do a little bit more work. So here comes the next part, right? Click right on any one of these apps and say create desktop shortcut. Now, if you go to our desktop, we can see that this shortcut has appeared. If I double click on it, my app opens. However, I'll right click on it and click properties. Once I go to properties, uh, I'm interested in this target field. There's a lot of stuff written here, but I don't need all of this. What I need is this app ID, this long jumble of letters that you can see. This is all I need. So I'll select this and press Ctrl C to copy this. I have pressed Ctrl C, I've copied this, and I'll press OK. That's all actually I need to do in properties. Now, once I've copied the app ID, now I need to fire up the terminal. That is the command. Now, there's no reason to be scared, like think, oh, I have to open the terminal, I have to write code. It's really very simple, actually. So, how do you open the terminal? I usually like an easy way to open the terminal. One way could be to use Windows key plus X plus I. So Windows key plus X plus I opens up PowerShell by default on Windows. Okay, so if I press Windows key plus X plus I, sorry, I did something wrong there. Yeah, Windows key plus X plus I. In my case, Ubuntu opens because I have Linux distribution installed, and that is set to default in my console application. However, I can open up PowerShell easily from here. In your case, um, if you press Windows plus X plus I, by default PowerShell will open, unless you have tweaked your settings like I have. You could also press Windows key plus R to access the run dialog, right? So the run dialog, here I can type in PowerShell. I already have typed it in actually before. So I can type in PowerShell and I can press OK. So see, PowerShell opens. So here I can do whatever I need. There's also another way I can use, which is the thing I use most commonly, is Microsoft PowerToys. So I press Alt plus space and I type PowerShell, right? So the same thing happens. So this is like the run dialog, but Microsoft PowerToys is a very powerful tool that lets you do a lot of stuff easily on Windows. And it's an app released by Microsoft. So if you're interested, you can check it out in the Microsoft Store. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description down below. So now that we've opened PowerShell, what we need to say is start MS Edge for Microsoft Edge only. MS Edge and paste our app ID by pressing Ctrl V. Okay, so I have pasted the app ID. Now, if I press enter, see, our app opens, right? Very cool. And you can actually use this if you ever need to start Edge in this app mode from the command line. You can first get that app ID by creating a desktop shortcut, going to properties, copying the app ID, and then pasting it in the terminal like this. Now, most Chromium based browsers will work by default in this pattern. So if you had to do it with Chrome, you could type start Chrome and followed by the app ID. But I don't have Chrome installed, so this won't work. Okay. And this would also work with something like, say, Brave, right? So start Brave and then you paste the app ID. Okay. So it works in a similar manner. This thing doesn't work in Firefox, at least not in a simple way that I know of. But in most Chromium based browsers that I know of that I listed right in the beginning, this method should work. So that basically completes this part. What we could do next is, and this is a bonus, we could open any website as an app without installing it first. That is, we open Edge by default in an app mode with a certain browser. And it is also actually very simple to do, but we have to use the command line for that. Okay. I don't know of any way to do it from the browser, or I don't know, any other tool maybe, but it's simplest to do it using the browser. So how do we do it? We are still in the terminal and we type start MS Edge. Again, replace this with your own browser and then write app dash dash app. That is dash dash, we are adding an option, dash dash app equal to the URL that you want to go to. So maybe I want to go to GitHub. Okay, so I write github.com. Okay, so this is just like writing an address. The first part is common, start space msh space dash dash app equal to, then put in your URL. Okay, so if I press enter, oh, this did not work. That's strange. Uh, that's very unfortunate, actually. I think I have to provide, no, okay, I'm doing something wrong. HTTPS. Yeah. Oh, so I have to provide the protocol. Never forget the protocol. Okay. So you have to provide this HTTPS thing, otherwise it won't work. So now I have successfully opened GitHub in app mode. However, you see that since this is open from the command line, you don't get the settings options and stuff. But this is app mode after all, and you can do whatever you want to within GitHub right here. So you can actually open up any website from here. Just do not forget the protocol, that is HTTPS. So I can open Google and Google opens in an app mode, right? Super handy. So these are the things you could use if you are in dire need of using the command line to start your browser, which I personally required because I was starting the Jupyter server and then opening the browser in app mode right from the command line. Okay. And that wraps up this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, or any thoughts, any additions you'd like to make, please down there. Thanks.